Hey everyone, what's going on? Greg here again from Team Blast. So if you're a plumber, an HVAC, a general contractor, a locksmith, or some other type of business that serves an immediate search, like locksmith near me, then this video is for you. So to start, when you go to Google, I'm on my computer, I search for HVAC near me. You're going to get two Google local service ads at the very top. Those are different from Google ads. It's a completely different service. You have to go through a bit of a background check and also an insurance check as well to make sure that you are properly licensed to support somebody who needs, let's say, an HVAC or a locksmith type of service. But to show up for desktop, you click on Show More. Here's all the listings that get shown here. This is really important. So if I click on, let's say, Get Quote, and if I fill this out and I hit Send, that is a cost now for the advertiser. So it could be a high quality lead, could be a middle, could even be a lower quality lead. But this is really important because, again, if you are missing out on lead volume, you really need to get into the Google local service ads section. Again, that's different from Google ads. Next is the sponsored result. That is a traditional Google ads. That is right there. For this example, there's only one. So if you scroll all the way down to the bottom of the page, I'm sure there's more. Yep, they're actually down here. There's two. So Google is actually experimenting with different placements. So Google local service ads tend to get the most click activity. And then the sponsor listing ads, they might put them at the top or even at the bottom too. But generally, what I'm seeing, this is what's getting the most amount of attention. It's very easy for a user to interact with the business. Therefore, you should be there too. All right. Next over here, we have an ALJ heating and cooling. Now, this is a Google ad that is brought in via the location extension. So I've talked to Google reps about this, and they want to push performance max campaigns. I'm personally not for that because it puts you on a lot of different areas that are, in my opinion, low quality for a service area. Like again, if you're an HVAC, you don't need to be on, YouTube or Gmail or some other places too. You really just need to be in the location map pack. So the way to do that is connect your Google Business Profile into your Google Ads account and then create the location asset. Again, your business will not always be featured there, but it's an auction base, very similar to the other way the ads work. So you want to be kind of seen there within the mix. If you're in the mix, I'm going to show you in 1 second why it's so critical for mobile, but you can see you have website and directions. And of course, you have the 3 organic map pack listings. Those are all the heat maps that I provide. That's strictly Google Business Profile. You want to optimize your account so you can show up in more places for the organic. But here's where things really change. So again, I showed you desktop. I'm going to click into Inspect. I'm using Microsoft Edge. I'm going to change my a screen to, let's say, an iPhone, and I'm going to now refresh this to show you why this is so critical. So now I'm using my phone, right? HVAC near me. I have 3 Google local service ads at the very top: Get Quote, Call, Book Call, and Get a Quote, and the call button right over there. If I'm on my phone, all I need to do is click on one of these. I can contact the business. This is so critical. If you're noticing a drop in leads, it's probably because you're not running Google local service ads, or maybe they're not running as well. But this is what shows up at the very top. There is a cost for this, but the lead could be so valuable that you really need to be there. Next, again, I talked about this before. ALJ Heating, they have a location asset ad that's showing, but notice that they only have the call, directions, and website button. Grasshopper, Highland, and my jockey's account. Those are the organic map pack listings, but Google has removed the call button, the directions, and the website. You actually physically have to click into Grasshopper heating and cooling for the page to load to then see those buttons that you can then click on. That's why a lot of times when I'm working with local accounts or people who will reach out to me, they'll say, "Hey, something changed with my business. I'm getting something like 50% less phone calls," and the data that I can see actually really proves that to be the case. Because adding an additional step, I'll go back into the SERP over here. Let me exit out. Google makes it very easy to call an ad, or they can call this ad over here. The organic, though, has had that removed. So the reason why I'm recording this video for you guys today is that when you're thinking about your local business and you're saying, okay, I'm an HVAC company. In the past, I've been able to get a lot of good leads, but I'm noticing a slowdown. A lot of people generally go into Google Ads and they create campaigns and they create, keyword budgets, but it doesn't return the investment that they want. The local service ads are actually really where the money is. The clients that I have that are running this, we're seeing generally a lower cost per acquisition or a cost per lead because it's so front and center. Whereas in a Google ad, typically you have to click on it, you go to a landing page, you might read some of it. You could then call the company. It's a little bit harder to track, whereas in the Google local service ad, it's at the very top and it's very easy to track from a lead basis. But let me just refresh this all again. So I use my computer, HVAC near me. If I was in charge of an HVAC's marketing strategy, I would very much invest in Google local service ads. I would also invest over here, which is a Google ad. I would make my Google Ads campaign bring in my Google business profile within a location asset so I can get into the map pack. And then, of course, with the map pack, I mean, this is pretty much the strategy that we've been talking about now for a while. We really want to expand our radius for more different types of keywords and categories. And that's all just on Google. Of course, we want to sync that into then Bing and then do what we need to do on Apple as well to really, increase our exposure. But those are the three primary ways you want to be listed. You want to be, again, local service ads, Google PPC ads, and then the organic map pack listings. Again, I didn't even get down to the websites down here because, quite frankly, this is where the focus is when it comes to local. It's going to make it really critical for you to get into all three of these spots. You get the most opportunity, most real estate to get that click, to get that lead, and to ultimately, hopefully, get that customer as well for your business.